Mao's Top 10 Moments, selected and presented by Andrew. Event number 10, being born into a peasant family. In 1893, Chairman Mao was born into a peasant family. He did not let poverty get to him, and he helped out a lot with things he needed to do. Just because he wasn't high on the social pyramid, he still became the leader of China. Event number 9, 100 Flowers Bloom. Right after Chairman Mao became the leader of China, he thought it would be a good idea to let people have freedom of speech and criticize the government. A couple years later, he revoked the idea because it didn't help out. He came up with the idea because he wasn't exactly sure of what to do first as the leader of China. Event number 8, fighting against Japan. In 1937, the Japanese invaded China, and the Nationalists and the Communist Party fought together to help banish them. Mao had a very important role in this and was a good leader during the time. After they got rid of the Japanese, they turned back to a civil war. Event number 7, marrying Jiang Qing. In 1939, he married Jiang Qing, which was his third wife. She had a big part later on in the Cultural Revolution, which was in the 60s, and that is why she's more important than the rest of his wives. Event number 6, joining the Communist Party. Mao joined the Communist Party in 1921, and this changed his life forever. It changed the way he governed China, and if he hadn't got caught up with fighting for the communists, he wouldn't have been as widely known as a leader. Event number 5, Chairman Mao's legacy. Chairman Mao's legacy was he was applauded for his leadership throughout 1957 and then blamed for everything that happened in the last 2 decades. Many people, depending on where you live or how you know him, have different opinions on Chairman Mao. Some people thought of him as a great leader and the best person ever, or you could think of him as a person who made China go through a lot of suffering and torture. Number 4, the Long March. The Long March is when the Communist Party took a 6,000-mile march to retreat and fight the Nationalists. This event made Chairman Mao the leader of the Communist Party because he took charge and made good decisions throughout the 6,000 miles. Event number 3, Mao banished the Nationalists and became the leader of China. Mao, which at the time was the leader of the Communist Party, helped banish the Nationalists to Taiwan. He then announced his leadership of China on Tiananmen Gate. This was the start of his ruling of China and probably one of the happiest moments of his life. Event number 2, the Cultural Revolution. Mao came up with the idea of the Cultural Revolution because he is scared that he might get overthrown after his bad idea of the Great Leap Forward. What he wanted to do is get rid of all the four olds, or get rid of everything old, and come up with the 4 news, create a new China. He did this by putting kids in power and brainwashing them in schools to make them think that Chairman Mao is the best person ever. He had kids become Red Guards, which were people who went around enforcing the law, and they had the right to kill people. It ended up very bad and many people died, forced to lose their belongings, or sometimes turn on their families. Event number 1, the Great Leap Forward. The Great Leap Forward was an attempt to catch up to the US and England in steel production. They had all the farmers and peasants stop their work and throw metal into a machine like a furnace to make steel. The steel that they made was not of the best quality and could not be sold. And since the farmers were not growing food, many millions of people died because of starvation.